This is Shalimar Steinberg, and today's video is going to concern using XREFs, and we are going to be doing assignment 14, including an XREF of Charnel Mulligan Park and a rebuild. We're going to start out by downloading the p-ab.dwg and open that up in AutoCAD. I'm also going to make my standard changes, which I always make to my portfolio here. User preferences, I'm going to right-click customization because I don't need the shortcuts. Turning off the view cube and getting rid of the lasso. Okay, I'll put my command bar up at the top so it's easier for people to see. And now, you will be going back and downloading this image file of the park and saving it. I have already downloaded the image file, so I'm just going to go into AutoCAD and start working. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Insert, and here in this section is where you do references, particularly external references like we've been talking about. So the first thing I'm going to do is hover over Attach here, and it says Inserts References to External Files like Drawings, Raster Images, and Underlays. So I'm going to click Attach, and it's going to let me browse to where I have that file located. I have it here under my L number, and it's called Charnel Mulligan Park, and I'm going to say Open. Now I have some options as to how I bring it in. Path type can be either relative or full path. So the full is the absolute path where it will tell you every single location of it. The relative path is what we want to use here because we want it to be relative to the folder that the regular drawing is saved in. So we want them both to be in the same folder, and we want it to look for them by that if we were to send this to anybody else. I'm going to do an insertion point specified on screen, but I could also unclick that and then give coordinates. For scale, I am going to do a large scale on this one because the drawing itself is really small. If I bring it in, you can barely even see it, and any blocks that I were to attach to it would be huge by comparison. So I'm going to bring it in at actually 400 times the scale. I could also bring it in rotated if I want to, but it comes in right now at the angle that I would like it to. So I'm going to say OK. And now it's asking me where I want to insert it, and I'm just going to accept the 0, 0 there, and it inserts it. Now I can zoom extents, and I have the image of my park. So if I look at this image, you can see that there's a sand pit here that has some playground information. There's an old covered picnic area. There's some external picnic tables under here. And then there's a path basically all the way around and a field. So what I want you to do is to basically use blocks in order to redesign this park how you would want it to appear. Along the edge here, you have up until this fence. This is where the properties next door start. Along this edge, I've taken you right up to the sidewalk, so you can go right up to the edge here. And on this one, you can go right up to the sidewalk here. And then along the back here, you have this full space up to where an alley starts. Now, what you're going to do is bring in some blocks from the block library, but you want to create layers for the different things. For now, I'm just going to use object lines, but you'll want to create layers for the different types of objects. So remember that we get our blocks by typing add center. And then under that, you don't want to scroll or anything. You're looking for the word sample, which should already be selected. And under that, you're clicking the plus next to ENUS, and then next to Design Center. And then there's a section for landscaping, which is mostly the blocks that we're going to be looking at. And I've got things like clumps of trees, lamp posts, park benches, picnic tables, etc. Now, our drawing is going to be a bird's eye view, so if you have a sideways park bench, it's not really going to work for a bird's eye view. So if you want to create a park bench, what I would do is take the picnic table and trim off any of the areas that you don't need in order to turn it into a bench instead from above. I'm going to start by putting in, for example, a deciduous tree here. And I'm going to click like this. Now it's going to ask me to specify the scale, and I'm going to tell it uniform scale, and I'm going to tell it a scale of about 100, because that's going to get me close to the scale of the drawing that I brought in, I believe. This is kind of a trial and error. So I'm going to say OK, and I can close this, and you can see that it's giving me my tree, and that might actually be too big. It is. So I'm going to undo that, and I'm going to go back into the Add Center, and I'm going to pick that same tree, but this time I'm going to bring it on in at maybe 10, and see how that looks. So that's still too big. Okay, so it looks like scale of 1 actually does work on that with the size that we've made the park. So that's good to know. So I'm leaving it at a scale of 1. Yeah, and I can bring that in. I might even make it smaller if I want some smaller trees as well as one big shade cover tree. And then you're also going to be creating paths, seating areas, and playground area somewhere. Nothing has to be located in the same spaces, just within the same square of your image. Alright, so that's it for the assignment for today.